All right. Looks like we are live. Yeah. Are we? Yes. Good, good, good. So we are still in the process of waiting for the election, and the election is another week or less away, and it is quite a thing to be dealing with a character like Trump, and for everybody's lessons and what we're dealing with. One of the things you can kind of get to understand, because all of this is something for you to learn from, yeah? And you need to understand, that when you're drinking, you're going to vote for Trump, yeah? And if you're coming off of drinking and you have some spiritual inclinations and you want to do better in life and things like that and you're change, likely you're going to go over to Biden, and think in those terms. But for a long time, your mind has been in a state of inertia, fulfilling this habitual process of drinking, yeah? Or you could be a coal miner who's also a drinker. Or you could be a manufacturing person who works on a manufacturing plant, and you're just making money like your dad made money off the car industry, and you're drinking. Or you're a fireman, or maybe you're a police officer, or maybe, and you're drinking. Yeah. And all of these stations in life, are very impure. They carry a lot of stress. They carry a lot of anxiety. They carry a lot of drinking. Yeah. And it's a buddy-buddy thing. Yeah? If you don't drink, you don't have a buddy. So it's something that's really a part of our system, or part of our social system. It's where we're coming from, but it's not where we're going to. Yeah, we're all getting healthier. We're finding out that drinking makes you fat. Drinking gives you diabetes. Drinking gives you cancer. Drinking destroys your liver. Drinking will give you, mental problems when you get older. All those things are not good. You could prevent them. Stop drinking. You could die of lung cancer. You could die of all kinds of things because you're smoking. Stop smoking. Yeah, every one of those things have horrible lack of benefit in a person. But when these things take place, if health comes into play and a person starts having conscious behavior, they choose, I really don't want to work in a coal mine. I'm going to die of that coal dust, no matter how much money I'm making, and I'm only supporting a horrible system, that isn't going to be supporting anybody else in the future, So I have to make change. And this is in the soul of people. It's really moving people to do that. And they're supported in their soul to do that. Yeah. So that's our evolution. Their soul is talking to them. Their soul, life after life after life after life. And when the environment gets clearer and less stress and less tyranny and less craziness and less drinking and less smoking, all that stuff, our spiritual side starts to come up. Yeah, and we start being gravitated toward, making sure everybody has medicine. Gravitating toward, if you're a multi-trillionaire, you should be covering a great deal of our taxes, our system. Yeah, because good chances you're putting enormous pollution into this system, and the cost to us all is great. So there's no free ticket. You being a billionaire means that you are polluting the system more than any other person on the planet. Whether it be some structural control like Amazon, and just wiping out mom and pop businesses everywhere. Grocery stores, toy stores. We don't even have toy stores anymore because of Amazon. Kids can't go to a toy store. That's terrible. Yeah? There used to be people who made toys, and they had them in stores, because people locally sold those toys, and they sold models, and they sold model airplanes, and they sold very interesting, creative things. But as we move through this process of too much drinking, too much smoking, too much business, focused on that incredibly expensive house, that incredibly expensive car, that overwhelmingly expensive life, and very little income. Yeah, that stress is so high. You got to drink, and it's hard to stop smoking. It's hard to diet. Yeah, it's hard to get your act together. It's hard to think that you should change to an electric car. You should change to more solar. You should do all these things. So when it comes to a time of Trump, where we're just now coming into a period where we're considering buying a car, buying an electric car, where we're considering, getting solar on our house, where we're understanding more of a true ecological problem that we've got, and that we're not afraid, We have, our soul is giving us enough information, showing us as a collective body, which is what the soul is, that as a collective body, we're working this out. Scientists, engineers, compassionate people of the soul, are out there busy working it out. And it's only going to get busier. Yeah, it's only going to get much more facilitating toward our lifestyle, of what we do, how we work. So until then, it's very difficult to enter into a real realm of higher mind if you're working in a coal mine. It's hard to go to higher mind, if you're a fireman or a police officer or in the military. It's very hard to go to higher mind, which means you would have empathy for another person. You couldn't shoot another person, you couldn't pick up the gun and do those things. Your aggressive level is down so much that you don't see yourself in that character. That's not the kind of person you are. It takes a long time to get to that when you've been in tyranny, and then you've been forced to go ahead and be in the military. And once you've been in the military and you've had 4 or 5 years in the military, carrying a gun, wearing a flak jacket, walking around people you don't even know, scaring the shit out of them, with goggles on and everything and not even showing your eyes, just scaring them, shooting them if you have to. Living 4 years like that in Iraq and Pakistan and all these different places. And you come back, and that's why we have such an aggressive militia. These are ex-military people. And they're drinking. And they got their guns. And they're very lower mind. Very lower mind. Lower mind is what votes for Mr. Trump. So the difficulty is that we're just beginning to enter into higher mind. Just beginning. Hardly anybody has even heard of homeopathy. Hardly anybody fasts, for long periods of time without thinking that they're going to die. Fast for 1 day. Oh, no, I'm going to die. Fast for 3 days. Oh, you're crazy. You're insane. Fast for 5 days. Oh, you're a fanatic. You're just nuts. You're definitely going to die of a heart attack. Your kidneys are going to collapse on you. All your entire system is going to break down because you're not filling it with the food you need to fill it. All these things that we think are necessary are because of this inertia. We're unaware of the reality of the spiritual realm. Yogis. People like Buddha. People like Jesus. Who fasted all the time. And yet, when we read Jesus, we go, oh, Jesus, oh yeah, we're supposed to do this and we're supposed to do that. But where's the fasting? That's what he did. Where's the fasting? What benefit would you get from fasting? In this world, in a state of inertia where we're at in lower mind, we don't have a lot of information because not a lot of people choose to fast. It's crazy. Maybe diet. Maybe go to 1,200 calories a day. I'm almost dying on this shit. How about 0? How about do that for 3 months? Can you survive? Absolutely. No question about it. An average healthy person can fast for 3 months without any harm whatsoever. Actually, What will happen is that you'll regrow cells, you'll end cancer in your body, you'll eliminate diabetes, you'll wipe away arthritis, you'll heal yourself and regenerate yourself to be younger before you started. Yeah. Just 3 months out of your life. Yeah. Imagine what happens if you live like Jesus. Yeah. Or if you live like Buddha. Yeah. Might end up to where you actually have a very healthy lifestyle, a healthy life. You know, you don't come out with all these diabetes and all of a sudden your leg needs to be cut off because, you know, your circulation's completely gone, or your eyes need to be removed. You know, just because of one thing. Diabetes. Then you got everybody gets cancer. Everybody's got tumors growing everywhere. Yeah. Yeah. Sugar is what feeds cancer. Without sugar, you can't grow cancer. It requires sugar. But everybody eats sugar. Yeah. And if you eat bread, you eat sugar. If you drink, you're drinking sugar. Yeah. So that's why there's cancer. Because we're feeding it. Yeah. And we're susceptible to it if we're very toxic. Yeah, we're stressed. We have all these different things going on. We're definitely going to come up with all these things that cause what we think is aging or the reason for our death. How did you die? Cardiac. How did you die? Diabetes. How did you die? You know, arthritis. Oh my gosh. How did you die? Well, your senility. Senility, yeah. I got so stupid I just died. You know, my brain shut down, didn't want to do anymore, and then my heart stopped, and my kidneys stopped, and my brain stopped functioning. Whoa, that sucks. Yeah? But yet that's what we go up against. That's how we live. Yeah? And when we're in a world like that, we're going to vote for Trump. We have a really high chance of voting for people like Trump because we have all these cells in our brain. We have all these things going on in us, and we are dying. We're suffering like crazy. And on top of it, we're in the middle of the coronavirus, and we're at 230,000 people dying. You know, 9 million people who got it. Yeah, that's stressful beyond belief. And everybody on his side who is into Trump is so lower mind, they themselves will not prevent the virus. They won't wear a mask. They think it's absolutely a ridiculous idea. You know, it goes up against what? Their ego. Yeah? Their lower self. Their lower nature. They're the same people if you said, could you please not smoke? And they'd blow it in your face. Yeah? Yeah, sit in a bar, you know, and you better leave that bar if you're not going to sit there and drink with people. Just 5-10 years ago. You know, not easy to get through. Yeah. Everything is a part of an astral projected thought form. Yeah. And we're too weak to battle that thought form, to get out of that thought form. Yeah. But through meditation and fasting. Now, if you study what I'm talking about, you know, meditation and fasting, if you ever studied any of this, you'd find that that's number one. Those two things come together, meditation and fasting. That's it. That's the most important thing. Yeah. Then there's receiving darshan teachings, spiritual integration, understanding how your soul may work, learning about virtues, you know, learning that glamours are weaknesses, you know, and things like that. That helps because your mind is getting clearer and you're able to understand because you fast. Yeah. But if you don't fast, then you're going to be eating. You know? And how much you're going to be eating? You're going to eat 3 meals a day like the average person, plus snacks? Yeah. Well, that's cancer, that's diabetes, that's arthritis, that's senility, that's all these things. Yeah. You know, and that's us. That's just us as a human being. Why? Because we sit around eating potato chips or whatever, snacking through the day, or, oh boy, it's breakfast time. Wah. Well, now it's lunchtime. Wah. You know, now it's dinner time. Wah. You know, and then snacks in between. And if it's really healthy food, if you're organic and you're eating proper right kind of meat and happy animals, you know, then you're really not putting yourself into the greatest danger, because that's where the danger starts coming in. You've overwhelmed yourself, you're lower, your immune system is low, you've got all kinds of things going on because your body is, too much digestion is happening, too much toxins is building up. But if you add on top of that the fact that you eat shitty food, yeah, and you don't eat good meat, and you eat really bad antibiotic chicken and fish that's got all kinds of mercury in it, and these are common things that you want to eat right out of a can or right out of the grocery store. But if you don't use your discernment and discrimination and make your choices, then you're now making it even worse when you do eat. Where when you do eat, you can survive, but you won't live that long, and you will suffer, and you will have these problems. But if you take the practice of dharma, which says the teacher is a yogi. Teacher's a yogi, Adi Yogi. He's the head. He's the dude, Maha Yogi. And then the yogi goes off on his own. Now, what'd you do today? Not much. What'd you eat? Nothing. And then you talk to him a few days later. What'd you eat? Nothing. Yeah. Like in my case, I fasting lasts, I think, 10 or 11 days. Yeah. Really normal. It's not a problem other than around you. It becomes a problem, and you want to make sure people are okay, So a lot of times it's what would draw you off of fasting, their nervousness, and then if you have a lack of ability of your will to, when you smell food, you might just go, ooh, okay, it's time to eat now. But when you're fasting, you learn that you don't really have any desire to eat. Food, it's not that it tastes bad, it's just that you have no hunger. Yeah. All kinds of natural things come in. Let me show you.
The 8 major benefits from prolonged fasting. Now, prolonged fasting is where you'd go 48, 72 hours or longer, sometimes a week, sometimes 21 days, sometimes even longer. There's some interesting benefits that occur when you do this. The body goes into this survival mode. It's kind of like a physiological vacation for your organs, especially for your digestive system, because every time you eat, you kind of like shut down that system. The people that eat frequently, let's say you're doing 3 meals plus 2 snacks, never have a chance to get these amazing benefits. Let's start with number 1. You actually regrow your brain cells. Not the entire brain, but very specific parts of the brain, including the hippocampus, parts of the brainstem, and other parts as well. So that's really cool. I mean, how many of you could use some extra brain cells? So
That's just a little. I'm just going to stop right there for a second, because if you imagine the regaining of brain cells and all this kind of stuff you get while you're fasting, it also puts you into a place to where you're learning about the benefit of health. Yeah, you instead of a lot of a fear, you're going into something that's pretty darn fearful. Yeah, and in that you're gaining an inner compassion or an inner empathy. Yeah, it's a strength you don't know that it exists. Yeah, and if you go into something that really is a struggle and could be dangerous, could be deadly, yeah, but yet you move forward. Yeah, and that is something that is inside of us. It's the hero aspect. It's a strength. It's courage. That's what comes from the soul. Yeah, it's strength, courage, understanding. It takes a bit, but you got to push through what it is that makes you afraid. Yeah, and you got to push through what it is you don't understand. Yeah, and you don't understand fasting. Yeah, and it brings up fear. Yeah, and you're not really clear about that. Yeah, but as you get through it, you come out the other side and you're cleaner. Yeah, but the other thing that comes in is that you're connecting in to a process that imagine if Here we are. On an average, we eat 3 meals a day. Okay. Now, if you just spread that out and look over the whole United States, and now you can see all of these canneries and tens of thousands of cows, all herded together. And you can see all these chickens, and all this fish farms, and all these great big boats out there, getting to catch, and killing themselves, every day. All these people going out there, gathering the food you're going to eat 3 meals a day, plus snacks, because now you got to have, all the Bisquick and, all these other companies that make your cookies for you and make your chips for you and make all these things, so that's a lot out there going on. Really busy shit, What happens if we all realize we can live hundreds and hundreds of years and not look older than 40? Yeah? Never suffer through cancer or disease or mental illness or nuttiness or anything, But enjoyment and appreciation, yeah? But out of that, you're only eating 3 times a month. 3 times a month. Yeah? And you're not eating 3 meals a day. You're eating 1 meal. Yeah? And that's, in a whole month, you're eating what you ate in a day. Now spread that out to the whole planet. Yeah? And you'll see us change. The whole world change. It's not about vegetarianism. It's not about the things you eat other than the common sense it takes to know don't eat shit. Don't eat pesticides. Yeah? Don't eat radiated food. Common sense raise you up to, oh, wow, that's radiated. Oh, wow, it's got pesticides. Oh, wow, they live in a cage. Oh, wow. Once you know that, you can't go any further. Yeah? It's just the way you are. You're built that way. Yeah? So, but what if? What if? The truth is that we're made to fast. We're designed to fast. That means that we would cut out at least half the food in a year that we would normally eat. Half the food if we fasted. That's not a lot of fasting, Not a lot of fasting, because when you go back to eating, you only eat 1 meal, maybe a meal and another half a meal. Yeah? And you're getting through your day. And no muscle is being lost, and you're actually working out. And if you need to build muscle, you will build muscle. Yeah? Because it's all about your true self. You have no idea that's all God wants to do is take care of your true self. Your true self. And it's not based on food. Yeah? Where all of our mind says, whoa, we got to load it up. We got to get all the meat we can get in us. We're going to really build those muscles and get really strong and healthy. Yeah, but the truth is, that, you can build muscles while you're fasting, and that sounds crazy. But you can. Because your body provides all this. All the hormones and glands and everything it takes. Growth hormones, youth hormones. Yeah, comes right back. Yeah. And every action that you do, instead of you burning sugar, you're burning your body fat. Yeah. Your metabolism has changed dramatically in a different direction. Yeah. When that happens, you're satiated. Because you're constantly building body fat. It's a natural thing. You can breathe air and build body fat. It's funny how fat would just pour onto a person, without a lot of food. Yeah. So this process helps to reduce the toxins that's built in the body, but it also will save the world. Imagine all the things we think, maybe we should be vegetarian, maybe we should stop eating meat and that'll cause this, or maybe we should do this and that'll cause this. But what if our true self is a yogi, and our true teacher is Jesus, and Jesus fasts, yeah, and he doesn't look that old, so things could be different, and all the things that we're going through, the processes. That here we have ecology problems. We have massive amount of energy problems. How much energy do we use in these manufacturing plants to create canned goods? Yeah, how much energy is used in order to horrify animals. Yeah, in large mass forms. So we can have a McDonald's and just eat at our whim, like the President of the United States. Yeah, no conscience whatsoever, but that's normal due to our lower nature. Our lower nature doesn't have conscience. Our lower nature doesn't have understanding. Our lower nature does not have a guru. No guru at all. If the lower nature has a guru, the guru's got to be dead. Then you can make up anything you want about the guru. Yeah? You could be Mohammed, you could be into Krishna, you could be into Jesus, But it's really the process that comes with Buddha, the higher nature that comes with yoga. Yeah? And with me incarnated, we have an opportunity to witness what really could be the benefit of everybody in reality is a yogi. Yeah? And to practice, to raise everything up and heal everything. Yeah? I give you the tools and all of that. Yeah? But you have to activate your temple. You have to build your temple. And you're being taught by false teachers that you have to build it on material, on flesh. Even in the past, people ate people. They were so consumed in this fear that they could not live without food. And yet, if you could fast for 60 days, which people can very easily, it's a scientific fact, people. I'm not pushing anybody off a cliff. Yeah? It's just the way it is. Yeah? Yeah? But the key to it is look at what could be the effect. Not just for you. You will live longer and you will never die of a disease. Nice. Really nice. Who can give you that? Yeah? What doctor can offer you that as a possibility? Yeah? But it's true in yoga. It's true. Yeah? But what is the benefit to the world? Yeah? The whole benefit to the world is that 80% of this food industry, begins just having no real purpose. And people don't buy from it. And people don't go to the store that often because they're not eating. They don't go. Now, this is just small numbers of people at first, but it's our nature. When we come into higher mind, when we come into higher spirituality, we're going to find God. And God has a spokesperson, which is the avatar, the sun. Yeah? And the sun is a yogi. And so everybody's going to receive the same teachings, and it's all going to be saved, and all is going to take on the responsibility of saving the world. But not like it's a personal responsibility, but it's our evolutionary expression of how we change. And right now I'm talking fasting, and most people, they're just going, well, I wish he'd just say, let's diet. Let's just eat this kind of food. And only maybe 5 days a week. That would be fine. I could do that. Yeah. But I'm talking fasting, where you're only drinking water. Just water. Yeah. You can have tea, you can have a little coffee. But you're not really eating anything. Yeah. Nothing. No candy, no hot dogs, no burgers, no breakfast, no lunch. Yeah. No snacks, no stopping off someplace. No grabbing something by habit, You'll find an enormous amount of changing you takes place. And that's your yoga. That's your yoga. And you benefit from that yoga. You're taking in a self-awareness, a process. You won't gain self-awareness until you do this process. Then once that comes about and you no longer are going to die, of all the things you are going to die of, then you have room for self-awareness. If your body and mind and emotional body is connected to the fact of your diseased body, and your mental body is diseased, your emotional body is diseased, disordered, your physical body is diseased, diseased, all of it, diseased, then there's no way spiritual integration is going to take place. And more fear towards food or other things is going to increase. So in this process, the reason why in my teaching, that I give why we should fast, even at a time like this, because we are going to do this. We're just like I say, you're all going to become monks and nuns. I know you don't want that, but that is exactly what's going to happen. Maybe not this life, but in a future life. Maybe not in this life, but in a future life, you're going to find fasting easy. By nature, you should find it very hard. By nature, you should not get through a 24-hour period. Maybe 12, maybe 16, then you should eat. Because your glands have to catch up. And you do this in a regular way, and a month or two down the road, you're going to go, I think I'll do 24 hours. And you'll do it, and it'll be like really easy. No problem whatsoever. And then you eat. And then another month down the road, you're going to go, I think I'm going to do 2 days. 2 days. And it's not a lesser person. It's a growing of a process. And yoga is a growing of a process. You don't push yourself in yoga, ever. You have to learn to swim downstream. Never upstream. Always downstream. Go with the flow kind of thing. So when you're fasting, you find as it goes along, it's very natural and it's built into it to be easy. But you got to get to a certain place to where the glands and other things are at a balanced point, and your intestines aren't going to freak out, and because you could go into 24 hours, you can go into direct diarrhea, and you just go, what is going on? Maybe I shouldn't be fasting, Well, definitely you shouldn't be fasting, because it's too toxic. All the overflow of toxins coming out of your body is too much. And your mind, your body will tell you, maybe you should only do 12 hours. I'm just too hungry to go 24 hours. And that is good. Does that make sense? That's really good. That's yoga. Where the other side, it's like, I heard that you can do it 20 days. Well, I want to do it 20 days. You make it a day and a half. And, oh, shit, What kind of person am I? I can't do 20 days, These other people did 5, and this person did 4, Still the same, comparing. And it's not about that, You need to learn yourself. This is self-realization, self-actualization. And the key to this, if you study Babaji, you study Shiva, you study Jesus, you study Buddha, you'll find meditation is absolutely impossible to not do. It comes natural in the mind and the way that you react to things and how you respond to things. So you're naturally a meditator. That's yoga. You're naturally 24/7. You're a meditator. But on the other side, you're not gorging yourself. And you're not drinking. And you're not smoking. You're doing things that are bringing sacrament into your life. Whether it be the food or the things that you're drinking or eating. All those things you have to see in your mind as a part of sacrament, sacred. And that they fit what you need to eat. And that's yoga. And you have the discernment and discrimination to do that. And every time you do this sort of thing, you're healing people next door. You're healing people all around the block. You're healing people everywhere. Because anytime you raise yourself up, you're raising other people up. You have no idea how many people, how many tens of thousands of people that are connected between you and your previous life and you and your future. People you're going to meet, people who need to be moved, need to be changed. You have no idea that you're going to change them because you made your change now. You have the right dharma, karma to meet those people in the future and make that effect. But you don't know that. You don't know that. And that's part of the dharma, is that we're telepathic, radiatory, healing people. And when we take on choice and change and things like that under yoga, we radiate out our good choices. And those become virtuous emanations of blessings. Yeah? They help people make changes in themselves, and it grows in the land, and it grows in people. Yeah? So listen to what else you get out of this.
Part of the hippocampus that's regenerated has to do with memory. Okay, there's like a relay switch in there that helps you get access to your database, your memory, your file cabinet of memories. So you're able to regrow that structure of the brain to improve memory. That's really, really cool. Okay, number 2, increase mitochondria. The mitochondria are the energy factories of the body. So you're going to find that your energy goes straight through the roof. Incredible amounts of energy when you don't eat. Well, remember, you're burning your fat, so you are eating, you're just not eating dietary calories. Number 3, autophagy. This is a condition in your body whereby it recycles old damaged proteins, okay? And other things like microbes and damaged mitochondria. So it's kind of a good self-cleaning action going on. And you recycle these proteins into new proteins to build new tissue. This is the epitome of anti-aging. But in order to get in this, you want to do prolonged fasting. Now, I do recommend doing intermittent fasting once a month or once every other month, or even like 4 times a year would be great. All right, next.
So imagine when you do something like this, whether you're taking vitamins, yeah, you won't get a benefit from those vitamins for almost 6 months. Yeah, it takes 6 months to a year to really get the benefit because it has to go into your cells. Yeah, and those cells has to incorporate it. Yeah, it doesn't just go in, all of a sudden you're blossoming all this healing influence that you took from the vitamins, the lack of vitamin D, the lack of vitamin C, all the antibiotics that you've been putting into your system, wiping you out. Yeah, those things are still there. Yeah, and when you take certain vitamins and you do certain things, you're naturally detoxifying yourself. You're ridding yourself of things like this. Yeah, you know. So one of the things he's pointing out is the process where mitochondrial, the brain, and all of that comes into a healing process, but not just healing. Yeah, it helps in the memory. Yeah, and if it helps in the memory, then it also helps in recognition. Yeah, because you can't cognize anything unless you have memory. Yeah. You have fake memory. You have assumption going on all the time. Your brain is getting worse, yeah, and your ability to hold, everything in a state of focus, which would give you understanding, yeah, clarity and understanding. It really requires this base where that memory's at, that this is healing, that area that it is healing is actually the base that allows you to make a discerning judgment. Yeah, and if you don't clean that up, you as you get older, you make less good discerning judgments, and you could vote for Trump. Yeah, you could just be a natural knee-jerk kind of scenario. Yeah, and we don't want to live in a body that has knee-jerk scenarios. Where you got to drink, you got to be in this job, you got to live like this, you got to act like this, all those things. This whole world is dramatically going to change. Yeah, and it changes easily because we're fasting and we're yogis. Yeah, because in our mind we have our memory is clearing, and we hadn't fasted up to that point. So it's not until after that point do you start getting benefits. So you can't fast and go, oh, I bet you my memory is great. I fasted 12 hours. No, you need to fast for maybe 20 days. Long-term fasting. That's when you get the benefits. The more you go into that long-term realm, then every day that helping, healing process in your brain and all throughout your body, it's continuing. Yeah. So that's like, oh, now I've been taking those vitamins now for 3 months. And that's just in a 20-day fast. You get so much benefit. And it re-triggers your system. So the weight you lost doesn't come back that fast. And the healing you gained doesn't go backwards. It continues going forwards. It stabilizes. So then you fast again later at another time. And you keep building this up. But the more you become a yogi, the more you're wise, the more you realize you're responsible for your death. Yeah. You're responsible for it. Yeah. And you're going to realize that as you die. I killed myself. All these things I did. The reason why I have this symptom, the reason why I'm dying. Yeah. That's not a way to die. You're better off dying asleep, you know, in a healthy way. Better off dying in meditation, you know, in a healthy way, which happens to most yogis. They know they're going to die. They go into a state of meditation. They prepare themselves. They fast. And then they just pass out of their body. It's a transition. Very simple. Very nice. Yeah. And if you're in the right environment, these people can live for hundreds of years before they die. Yeah. Because they're not living on much. They're living off a leaf. Yeah. That's what Milarepa did. Yeah. Many other yogis fasted all the time. Yeah. And they lived off nettles and leaves. Yeah. Because it was sacred. It wasn't because it was a food. Oh, this is going to give me all the things I need. It was sacred, and it had something to do with sacred offering, a sacred offering to his body, a sacred offering to God. Because his body is made and created by God. And if you begin this process, really do this process, you'll be so amazed as to how much it's like to have a nice, clear, brilliant mind that's growing healthier, and a nice, healthy body that's getting more vital and light, rather than heavy in any area, but light and strong and agile, because the muscles are continuing and the inflammation is gone. Yeah, all those areas of suffering. Yeah, so Buddha said, I can help you with suffering. Yeah, but there's techniques and all these things, and we're only entering, that's what I keep trying to say, we're only now, right today, here and now, are we entering into a time to where I could say this, and people won't just go, you're nuts, and there's no place to get validity. But right now, major universities are talking about what I'm saying. Yeah, major universities. Yeah, you know, books are coming out left and right because they're breaking through the reality that, oh, it's not this and it's not that, it's not this special food, it's not this way of living. No, it's just freaking fasting. That solves everything we're asking. We want to cure cancer, we want to stop diabetes, we want to stop senility, we want to increase our age, you know, all this kind of stuff. And the only thing that leads to it is fasting, which means we're holy. We're holy. Yeah, that's true prasadam. If you see yourself as holy, then you yourself are what you need. Yeah, it's everything you need, every single thing. And you have no idea that you're so holy that you supply so many nutrients that you think are found in that plant or that animal, and you got to like consume it. But in truth, yeah, and once you get through this, you do 20 days or so, you'll come out the other end and you're going to go, whoa, do I really need to eat now? Why am I eating it all? Yeah. So what you eat becomes true prasadam. This is an offering between me and earth. I am eating because I want to make a difference on this planet. Bring my choices into my mouth and eat those things, consume those things, let them, these are an offering of, in a sense, a sacrifice. Yeah? Because on the other side of the brain's going, oh, this, you know, this is a sacrifice in itself, and it's giving me such pleasure so that I can live. This plant is sacrificing itself so I can live. This animal is sacrificing itself so I can live. But it's not true. Yeah? You don't need those things. Yeah? And you live. Long time. Long time. But, you know, after like 60 days, you got to eat. Yeah, because you're going to have problems. Yeah, so eating is not the thing, you know, that we have to avoid. It's just the one thing we need to understand as a yogi is where we're at in our sacred reality behind our body. how we build, what we grow with. Yeah. So check out this. Still good stuff.
This one is enhanced stem cell production. The stem cell is the cell without a purpose. It's not differentiated into a specific cell yet. It just sits there until the body says, I need a new cell because this is damaged or it needs to be replaced, and you actually get new cells. As you age, stem cells go down. The more stress you have, the more sugar you eat, or the more frequently you eat, the more it goes down. So when you do prolonged fasting, you actually enhance your stem cell reserve, your pool of stem cells. And this is another reason why you would get younger and you would feel more youthful, because you have more replacement. So prolonged fasting is a really amazing repair action. The drugs that promote anti-inflammatory effects basically dominate the market. Most of the money in drugs have to do with anti-inflammatories. Interesting. Rheumatoid arthritis, autoimmune diseases, just pain and inflammation. This tool of prolonged fasting is essential to actually help someone get to the root of why they're stuck in inflammation. A diabetic has a lot of inflammation. So if you have arthritis, bursitis, rheumatoid, any of the itises at all, you need to do prolonged fasting. All of the autoimmune diseases involve inflammation. That's why the remedy for autoimmune, whether it's MS, rheumatoid, always involves taking steroids, okay, like cortisone shots or prednisone. And that's an anti-inflammatory. But the problem is it rebounds and it creates more inflammation and destroys the...
So what happens if we do this? Yeah, we get healthier. Yeah, and we don't have the inflammation. We don't have the diabetes. We don't have the cancer. We're not having heart attacks. We're not getting senile. We're losing all addiction processes because we've eliminated the food that would come into us. And that would include alcohol and a whole bunch of other things. Yeah. So what would be the benefit of that, other than the fact that we would save the planet, save the animals, save humanity, save the world in an economic scenario. Yeah. And we would also stop the unhealthiness. Yeah. Because here we are, we want medicine to take care of us. We want all the insurance, to take care of us. Anytime we go into a doctor, we want it free, because it's something we deserve. Modern medicine should be free. Yeah, we consider that's true. It's in a lot of places. It is, but economically, it's ridiculous. Yeah, and if people would, and in all those countries, they all push and support preventive medicine, preventive exercise, eating well, living right, having your children in the right way, having long periods of time together rather than apart. All these kind of things they know is beneficial, so it really makes it a healthier country that is having that kind of medical practice. Yeah. But what if we fast? Yeah. And we eradicate all these things. Yeah. And this begins to happen between now and 2050. Yeah. And masses of people are fasting. Masses of people are no longer obese. Masses of people. And people love to get skinny. People love to lose weight. People love to get healthy. People love to not die. So once this kind of catches on, it becomes such a natural event to fast, to save yourself from all things. Yeah. And to meditate. Because you're not cooking anymore. You're not washing dishes anymore. Yeah. Your time is much more directed toward an opportunity to meditate along with your fast, or maybe do yoga and go work out some more. Yeah. Get your body even healthier. Yeah. So when you come out of that. So there's an enormous, not even the process of the animals and the process of this and that, but it's the process of mass numbers of people no longer going to a doctor. Yeah? They don't call the doctor because they don't have any symptoms. They don't go to the hospital because they don't have any symptoms. Yeah? Cancer clinics are closing down because there is no more cancer. Yeah? Children are no longer having carryover diseases into their body when they're young, where they have childhood cancer. Yeah? Because we're healing it. Yeah? And the next generation that comes in doesn't have all that carried on in the genes through the mom into the process of all the antibiotics and the plastic and everything that they consumed in their diet from last generations and this present generation, where we have all the little children that are having all kinds of emotional, mental, and physical problems. Yeah? That'll all clear up due to the process of yoga. Yeah? Not stretching yoga, but the practice of the teaching of Christ. Yeah? And applying that teaching and saving our physical bodies and saving our country. Because right now we're a diseased, unhealthy people, and we're eating and overeating, and we're consuming without any knowledge or understanding as to what we're doing and why we're doing it. And we blame this and that on everything else but ourselves, because we do not have a teacher. Yeah? Christ needs to explain to you what it is that's up, and this could be fixed. You could begin fasting tomorrow and not die and change your life. Yeah? Change your life. Yeah? Just push it forward. No one's going to say, well, you better eat, You got to know yourself. Yeah? And never push yourself beyond, oh, boy, I'm so weak and I'm just not feeling right. My stomach doesn't feel right. My movements are really bad, I need to eat. You're right, you need to eat. You're discerning, you're discriminating, you're learning your body. Yeah? Fasting helps you do that. Yeah? Be patient, But trust me, fasting is going to save the world and it's going to save you. Yeah? I'm not here to give you a religion. I'm here to give you results. Yeah? And help in the process of ending war and ending all these things that we've got going on. But we have to be yogis. And the first thing first, healer, heal thyself. Yeah. You got to be a yogi. Yeah. If you want to be like Christ, listen to what I'm saying. It's not about diet. It's about fasting. And then what you do eat, you have to have discernment and discrimination and give it prasadam and enjoy it to the fullest. Enjoy that steak. Enjoy that fried chicken. Enjoy that vegetables in minimal ways. Yeah? And after a while, you're not going to want that, and you're probably not going to want this. And now when you come off your fast, you're just going, oh, I think I just need a soup. That's good. That'll do me. I don't really need a very big steak. Don't really need fried chicken. Yeah. But just like I said, it takes time. And the fasting will rewire you. And just keep it up. Keep it up. Yeah. And that process will bring about more changes than you can ever imagine. It's dramatic.
Adrenal gland. So this is a very safe way of reducing your inflammation. And if you have an autoimmune condition, this is essential. You can greatly improve that condition because of the effect on prolonged fasting on the immune system. Number 6, decrease tumor growth. So whether you have a polyp, a cyst, a boil, a fibroid, you need to do prolonged fasting to improve that situation. When you get into fasting, you run your body in ketones, and tumors cannot survive with ketones. Cancer lives on sugar. And when we do fasting, we deplete the sugar reserves, your glycogen reserves, and we're running on ketones, okay, and fatty acids. Well, tumors can't live on that, okay, so we starve them off. And also, cancer lives on glucose and L-glutamate. So by doing prolonged fasting, you get to starve cancer as well. So that's another benefit that I didn't mention. Number 7, increase antioxidants. Your body has an antioxidant network, okay? So you have vitamin C, vitamin E, zinc can act as an antioxidant, glutathione, lipoic acid. There's a whole bunch of them. So when you go into fasting, your antioxidant levels go way up. Why? Because this is where the body repairs and it defends itself against microbes and things like that. But zinc actually goes up when you do prolonged fasting. And zinc is involved in a lot of enzymes that are antioxidant. Uric acid also goes up. Now you might think that's a bad thing, but uric acid is one of the most powerful antioxidants in the body that your body uses when it's fasting. So it goes up, but then it will come back down too. So it's not a long-term thing. It's just a thing that will spike up just because the body needs that to clean up some of the stuff that it's dealing with. Okay, number 8, cell resistance to stress. So there's been this idea that when you do prolonged fasting, it's very stressful to the adrenals. Well, actually, it's helpful to the adrenals because it increases your stress tolerance. You're no longer running on the ups and downs of sugar. You're basically going into this interesting repair mode where the body starts to increase the resistance to all sorts of stresses. And part of that is the antioxidant level, but part of it's just like if you were on chemo, for example, and doing fasting, your body, your cells would survive better because of this fact right here. So the cells become tougher. Okay, it's just kind of the survival mechanism that's established genetically because of years of adaptation in the past. Or when our bodies don't eat, it has to survive, so it goes into that certain mode. Now, how do you do prolonged fasting? I would recommend that you let your body tell you how long to fast, especially initially. You want to let your body kind of get used to it. So let's say, for example, the first time you try it, you only go 24 hours and you have to eat. That's fine. Well, give it more time. Maybe next month, start again. And maybe go to 36 hours, okay, and then work to 48 hours. Let your body tell you when you need to eat, okay? And I'm not talking about just some...
That's right. Yep. Yeah, so as you can see, there's benefits, enormous benefits, because almost everybody else would go, well, there's zero benefits other than extreme weight loss, and the possibility of losing all your muscle, and the possibility of fainting, the possibility of having kidney disease, and dysfunctional adrenal glands, and a heart attack, and, all the information you might look up. What would happen if you fasted? They say crazy shit like that, But when you really study it and you go to the medical journals and you find out what's going on with their tests with animals and their tests moving over to people who have fasted for a long period of time, and what are the benefits of those things, that information is available too. But you got to get outside of your lower nature, attracted to negative thinking and negative education. Yeah, because it's abundant. It's 10 times easier to find negative education that is lower mind and very old stuff that is still repeated, and never been proven to be true, but it's just repeated, But we're coming into a place where a lot of new things are coming up, to where they are being verified and it's being assimilated and the benefit behind it, because there is an awakening taking place in unveiling the ability to see the truth. You would never be able to accept fasting or electric cars or a whole bunch of things without the light of God coming into you to help you through this process. The density of lower mind and consciousness due to pain and suffering from tyranny and slavery and your own bigotry toward another person and how you don't evolve out of that. All of that creates an enormous, process for us never to get out of. But in our yoga, only due to God's grace can we come to this consciousness and be able to go, oh, well, that sounds good. And then a collective body of the new group of world servers has already worked on it. So everything that I'm saying, things that I talk about, are things that are actually virtual. They're verifiable. They exist in a world that's not fantasy. I'm not saying something that no one else ever done. Electric cars that have never really been here. Yeah, I'm saying things that are in the middle of happening and will surface very soon. And they did, and they always do. Yeah, that's God's plan. Yeah, I just happen to have the inside seat on God's plan. And we're at a point right now to where we need to heal the temple before we can build a temple, before we can stop voting for Trump on a mass level. And I can't tell you that only meditation will do it. Yeah, you're going to have to fast. Yeah, and fasting brings all these benefits, but it wipes out fear. It pushes you. You don't go on a cross. You think you're going to go on a cross. You think you're going to die on that cross, and you think you're going to do the stupidest thing you ever did in your life. It's gonna waste your age. You're going to get older faster. You're going to wrinkle faster. You're going to get uglier faster. You're just going to, all your skin's just going to hang from you fast because you fasted. Yeah, but all of that is the opposite of the truth. Your skin will get tighter. Your muscles will get fuller. Yeah, your inflammation will go away. Yeah, your true body shape and your form and your health will begin to express itself. Yeah, that's self-realization. Yeah, you never will find yourself if you're toxically overloaded. Yeah, and you look in the mirror and you go, wow, that's a lot of inflammation. And you don't even call it inflammation. You call it your personality. This is my look. This is what I look like. Yeah. But it's not. If you purify and you clean this up, your true self will come back. Like a little kid. You know, you will regenerate. Yeah. And all of that will begin restoring the process of your life. Yeah. So this cannot happen without God's grace. Yeah. So you got to take that really in and know that, you know, due to the fact that there is all of this coming in, we're going to change the process of ever having to vote again for Trump. Because we're coming into a world where we're building our own temple. And in the future, we're going to build temples. And we're going to heal the planet after we heal ourselves. Yeah? Because imagine while we're healing ourselves, we're not eating, and all of a sudden the industries, the bad industries, that would take us hundreds of years to decide these are bad industries. Slowly but surely, one at a time, getting rid of sugar. You know, how are you going to do that? Fasting. They can't survive. People not buying their product. They can't survive. That means that there are tens of hundreds of thousands of poor people out there who are enslaved in that sugar market. You know, they're making no money whatsoever. Coffee, sugar, all this food product. It's mainly done by slaves. Yeah. And we're going to shut that down, but not in a knowing way. Not like, oh, I'm going to do this or I'm going to do that. But due to this, we are so connected to the earth that we are the ones who are harming it. And until we do this, we'll never see the effect. Yeah, but once we do this over year after year after year, and we literally cut out, you know, a good 30% of our normal diet in a year. That's 30% of the economy, yeah, that comes from places that are producing really bad things and not helping the planet and creating more and more and more pollution, more and more destruction in our solar plex and in our soul. You know, so it's only natural for us to move into this as time goes on. You can look on YouTube. You can look in other places. This is a growing thing. It's called intermittent fasting, which is moving to prolonged fasting. Yeah? And it's the safest way of dieting they're finding. Yeah? So it's moving from keto to paleo to fasting. Actually, keto, paleo, intermittent fasting. Yeah, so you do it between those diets, because you're trying to bring yourself into a keto state. And when you bring yourself into a keto state, you're preparing yourself for what? For fasting. Yeah, does that make sense? All these diets that I've been helping you move through is preparing you so that you could fast. And when you get into this fast, you can last longer than 12 hours or 24 hours because you don't have so much sugar you have to burn off, which will give you all kinds of weird bad symptoms in the process of fasting. If you haven't already done keto and haven't already done paleo. Yeah. So you can see in the whole world, major numbers of people are on paleo diet. You can go to the store, you can find it everywhere, low carb, everything everywhere. In restaurants, you can see paleo on the diet now. We're just moving toward us being fasting yogis. That's all that's going on. Truth. Yeah, that is what is going on. And it's not me getting up on a pulpit in a church and telling everybody, I'm Jesus Christ and you have to fast. They're all doing it because of the collective consciousness of the soul, and peoples are waking up within their own discernment as a science on every level. Yeah, all around the planet, on every level. They're all collectively coming together. Yeah, engineers, scientists, doctors, every level. People who are exercise fanatics, they're all coming together on every level. Yeah. And they're moving through the same Holy Spirit. Yeah. They're all collectively going, that paleo diet does work really dang good. Yeah, but have you tried the keto diet yet? Keto? What's that? I don't know if I want to go keto. Yeah. Yeah. But that's our lower nature. We have no idea. We have a fear factor placed on keto. We have a fear factor placed on certain things. Because we've had a lot of Donald Trump information programming coming at us, bullshit, lies, fear, projected into things. Yeah. But all of everything has been changed dramatically over the last 3 to 5 years, where people are changing in all these areas, going into vans and going into minimalism and buying electric cars, and so many people, average people, even drinking people, people with cowboy hats, are taking on the paleo diet and taking on the keto diet. Yeah, because it makes them feel better. It brings them into, and they're actually, the only reason why it's happening is because they're moved by the Holy Spirit as a soul, as a collective soul, new group of world servers. So that's all really good news. Yeah, that's great stuff. And I want to continue with great stuff, but I need to point out a couple other things that aren't so great, and I'll start with the Constitution. That's a good thing. Yeah, it's a great thing. Yeah, except that we're up against that. We're in just like in fasting. Yeah, we don't know that built into ourselves we have a constitution. Yeah, and homeopathy, it's based on the constitutional. Yeah. What is the similar to yourself? The closest similar, vibrationally, that would bring you into a higher state of health. Yeah, it would be the constitutional. Yeah, and so everything has a constitution that brings it closer to God, and allows the temple, its nature, itself, to express itself, and all of a sudden it organizes itself all on its own. It's built within it. It's not God in a machine, not at all. Yeah. It's in evolution. It's in life. Yeah. God is life. Yeah. Not a machine. Yeah. So that includes the social system, the way in which we live our life, how we work through our life. And one of the things that helped to bring about the process of humanity, not going into tyranny or kings and all of that, was the process of America and our ability to not live selfishly. We had to learn to let go. Yeah, we had to learn to not be separate states. Yeah, we need to ratify. We need to gain togetherness. We need to trust each other. We need to create an alliance. Yeah, we're not just separate states. Yeah, all fighting against this and that, and making our own money. The whole trip. Yeah, that's how it was in the time of our life. Yeah. So in that process, the making of the Constitution is part of the Holy Spirit coming into play in order to control the amount of environmental hostility that can take place around people and not allow them to evolve. Yeah. The creating of the Constitution was first the preamble to create tranquility and human rights for people, so that they would not be under tyranny and they would be able to live their life, make their money, pay their taxes, enjoy their freedom, their tranquility of having freedom, yeah, and a level of law that supported human rights, yeah, where the black person has the right to vote and all these human rights, where anywhere else in the world that did not exist. Human wasn't real, yeah. People were bought and sold. Humans were used as labor, yeah. So there's no such thing. In order for us to gather that and get that, we need to actually trust in God to bring it down as a manifestation of thought form building, yeah, and put it into words and agree to it. Everybody agree to it. Create the House of Representatives, the Senate, yeah, create the president, all these branches that created more and more safety and ability for us to not have one person run this thing, not have one group control this thing, but have the people monitor it and control it and move through it, one generation after another, evolving it, yeah, making it manifest as time comes out. Because this is a long time thing. Just like taking vitamins, it takes like 6 months to a year to benefit. Well, this is the same thing in the creation of the Constitution. It created, first there was a civil war because we weren't able to ratify, yeah, and that Confederate was what we were ratifying. We were bringing it together, and it wasn't able to come together, yeah. So that created the Civil War, and that Civil War created an awakening inside the heart to where the president himself literally had to hold bay the influence of the nation and stand with the fact that we needed to be in a civil war. We needed it, yeah. It was how we're going to play this out, because the human rights that are written in the Constitution, yeah, that are part of our Bill of Rights are completely at question, yeah. Whether or not we are ever going to remain as a nation, whether or not we would be the United States. And that's a presence of a being, America. America is a being, yeah. Imagine it's an emanation of Christ himself. It's a being, yeah. So there's this part of it that is a manifestation of each area is a way for that being to express and create a constitution and create a preamble and create rights. But it's all under the will of God, yeah. So what it's creating is the influence for the Christ to express, for the government of Christ in a compassionate, understanding way to express and bring the yoga into the United States. Yeah. Allow the influence when Christ comes and the teachings are unveiled and brought into action, the healing enough of all the tyranny and time and space up to the year 1951. People are freed. If you study 1951, that is the freest time of the human race in America. We got the suburbs. We got opening of everything. We all went camping. We all had fun. We all just had all the money we needed. And we had houses that only cost $12,000 and cars only cost $2,000. And, we made a good wage, and we were out of the military, and it sent us to college for free. All these benefits of that Constitution, the work that we put into it, we benefited. And that came as an enormous process into the New Age. It gave us the Golden Age. And that's where we're at today. Now we're going to have to move through that Golden Age. And that's where the hierarchy comes in. We had the hippies, we had yoga, we had Masters of Wisdom come to America. We had all these things. That's because we were ushering in the New Age, yeah, a whole New Age, a Golden Age, yeah. So this is a time where this Constitution and everything that's built from it comes from the emanations of manifestations of avatars, Washington being one, yeah. George Washington, imagine him as an emanation of the avatar, yeah, carrying on all the weight and everything, the whole bit. Even his name is used to officially put everything right, yeah. And then he reincarnates as Lincoln. Yeah, reincarnation happens, people. And he reincarnates as Lincoln. Well, he has so many things happen in his life that moves him to become president. Yeah. He is so literate, so smart, so capable, he's reading one book after another. Yeah. Born with it. Didn't really have to go to school for it. Yeah. He recapitulated. Yeah. Super genius. But previous lives of being president helped. Yeah. And that process that came in helped him understand the Senate and House of Representatives and the position of the president and the needs of the people. How to serve the people. And when he wrote from God. He always stated that these are words that I'm getting from God. These are like visions. Yeah? These are my impressions that God wants this done. Not my will, not your will, but the impression I get from God that this is the right thing to do. No matter how hard it is, this is the right thing to do. Yeah? So both him and George Washington had the exact same ray package, and they bring in to the United States the official energy of the 1-4. Yeah? The influence of what is Washington, D.C., what is harmony on earth, what is to have a president carrying presidential seal, presidential influence into the world. It's a 1-4. And they were avataric in their nature, so they expressed 1-4 into it, and they were able to clear up the Civil War and create the Constitution. Because it was George Washington who sat in the room with all 55 delegates who sat there to write the Constitution. They needed him to sit there and chair. He had to sit. He didn't say anything. He just sat. And he listened to all their conversations. And everything emanated through him. And he overseed everything by overshadowing. And it raised everybody up into making the right decisions, making their pen write correctly and cooperate, because he's the manifestation of reconciliation. Yeah. The ability to compromise. Yeah. You have to have a president who has the ability to compromise. That's a 1-4. Yeah. And that's the most difficult one to do, because you have your personality and you have all these horrible things going on in your life. George didn't have the best things going on in his life. Lincoln didn't have the best things going on in his life, but yet that didn't affect his ability to be the president and to do the things he had to do, which is willed by God. Yeah. So in our presidency, we have two manifestations of the emanation of the avatar himself, George Washington and Lincoln, and they both sit in Washington in honor. Yet people don't know. Yeah. But that's the truth. And the truth is what's holding all this together. Yeah. Our ability to carry on all of our legislature, all of our voting, all of this is held together by the office of George Washington and President Lincoln. Yeah, and they carry the whole presidency. For every action every person makes as a president, they're being overshadowed by Lincoln and Washington. Yeah. And if they stay in the office, they become more and more emanations of Lincoln and Washington. They're not themselves anymore. They're the office. Yeah. What it's like to be in this office and hold this position as did Lincoln and Washington. Yeah. Then you get someone like Trump, and it just does, and that's an opposite of that reflection. Yeah. So we're just coming out of that, but we need to look back into the reality that all of our relationship to the Constitution is based on nature. It's based on the natural qualities that were found in Washington and Lincoln that instilled into the United States all the things that everybody wrote in the Constitution. It was written as the opportunity that will come as a nature, that it's not something we have to, like in tyranny, you have to force people to behave in a certain way and accept to agree. But in this case, it was placed on earth in a state of compromise. So it created both the Senate and the House of Representatives. It created the office of the executive office. It created these things where compromise could take place. Yeah. It's all set in that way. Yeah. And then all the people get to vote. That's not much in tyranny. That does not happen in tyranny. Yeah. So just the ability to vote. Then they had to decide, well, can black people vote? Are they people? Yeah. because you count all the people in order to know how many people are representing your state or your country or your whatever, you know. And if you think that, you know, certain human beings are not real human beings, they're just, you know, half a human being, you know, which you don't really know you think like that until it's put up to a question, you know. And that's what happened. You know, during the end of the Civil War and the process of creating this delicacy and moving into the Constitution, they had to bring the states together, you know, to become the United States. And to do that, they had to give credit to all the people in each state. And down south, there were a lot of people who had slaves. And they're going, well, I think our slaves should be counted. You know? And others are going, no, they're slaves. They're not people. You know, we can't count them as a whole person. So in the end, they got to be counted as 2/3 of a person. Yeah. So you know, you add them all up, and 1,000 of them, you lose quite a few people. Out of 2/3, 1/3 of that is gone. Yeah, of 1,000, they're not. You know, and 10,000. Wow, that really, the number shoots up quite a bit. Yeah. And that's what's in our bigotry. That's what's in us. That's our attitude, whether it be a Mexican person or a Chinese person or a Japanese person, a person who is of difference. You know, they're still a person, but they're more of a laborer or a server or something that, you know, does things for you that you don't want to do, you know, because, you know, it's that bigotry, yeah, that bias, yeah. And that's where we're all learning to grow out of. Now, that's something that is held all throughout the land. Yeah, so that's the purpose of the Constitution. That's how we got through the war of the Confederate War and all the processes of the Union and, you know, being able to bring it back together. Yeah, but that influence, you know, is what brings about the process of us as a nation. You know, we're yogis. You know, we have no idea that our process of gathering together, paying taxes, all these things that we think is an experiment, because the whole United States is thought to be an experiment, and it's not. It's a yoga. It's a yoga applied by the hierarchy, writing it down in words, and knowing that in prophetic ways that this is the outcome of humanity. And that if we do what we're meant to do, which is be compassionate and caring, and we focus through friendship, through allies, never tearing anything down and putting up walls, yeah, never, but always finding an ally relationship. And that way people gain respect back and forth, and they make the decision not to encroach, not to pass over. Yeah? They're not invited. Things aren't, when the law is set in that way, and you don't set up your terms of understanding through compromise, yeah, then you're going to build walls. Yeah, and you're going to create more bias and more prejudice. And it's all going to take us back to why it is we built the United States in the first place. Yeah. So that's what we're up against. We're up against, in that influence in our system, you know, is that process. You know, here we have Trump doing what he's doing. We have the militia doing what they're doing. All these influences are all counter the process of what's going to happen. Yeah. What's going to happen is what's in the Constitution. Tranquility and freedom and human rights and extreme prosperity and the sharing of caring across the nations, creating allies and closing the doors to war, and helping to influence people to build up their own constitution and their own democracy, and not fall into communism and not fall into the corruption in the rest of the world, where they're going to use tyranny and power and force in order to turn you. Yeah? But it's only because of the United States and our ally relationship of sharing and caring and defending people for no reason whatsoever other than the fact that we are asked. Yeah? Because that's what we are. It's our constitution as human beings. And in the end, as it all gets healed, 2,000 years from now, we won't look at this as the United States will look at this as the united planet, yeah, that lives in existence, that we first started off in the United States. And in 2,000 years, it becomes the whole of the planet. And there isn't one speck of the planet that isn't unified in caring through sharing. And a constitutional understanding that everybody's got a human right, and that's the law. Yeah? And we live by the law of love, not hate. So we don't put up these walls, and we don't make these things, and we don't do... All that just goes fizzling away. Yeah? And it'll go faster and faster and faster if we start fasting. Yeah? Yeah. Yeah. Okay, let's meditate. Okay, so I'm going to do the prayer, which I think is a really good thing to continue repeating. It's mainly to help people in the process of relieving themselves from what they're not aware of. Yeah, yeah. And just like fasting, just like taking vitamins and things like that, you got to do this quite often. Yeah, yeah, because your self-doubt will, 5 minutes after you say it, you know, you'll turn it to inertia. You know, and you'll just go, oh, I wonder if that had any effect. You know, I wonder if I'm going to change. I wonder if I have any demons in me. You know, I wonder how cursed I really am. You know, but that's not the case. That's not really the situation. Trust me, you're cursed. Yeah, and you're filled of it. Yeah, it's to the brim. Yeah, and that, you know, I've been here for hundreds of thousands of years. Yeah, talking, verbally expressing. I'm down in history like you can't imagine. I'm the most famous historical figure. I'm going in who's who's as the most famous reincarnated historical figure. That's who I am in who's who. Isn't that funny? I mean, who gets to go into who's who as the most famous reincarnated historical figure? That's really cool. Yeah. But that's the way it is. Yeah. And my process of teaching, if you go back to any one of my teachings, you'll always find Jesus was a yogi. Yeah? Why he was so different, why he said the things he did, why he was able to eat with sinners, you know, why he was able to heal people, why was he able to say the things he said, yeah? Why did he go off for 40 days and 40 nights and not eat and fast and be with no one, yeah? How and why? Yeah, and if you go to another, you know, Buddha, you'll find he did the same thing. 40 days, 40 nights, he did the same thing. Fasting all the time, he did the same thing. Teachings exactly the same. Yeah. And you go back to Krishna, did exactly the same thing. In a different cycle of time. So we don't really have a clear picture of the real life of Krishna. Yeah. Or any other lives. Yeah. But we can go back to Buddha and Jesus. Yeah. And everybody's going, wow, you know, the Buddhists are going, wow, I can't wait till the second coming of Buddha. You know, that I'm going to commit myself at that time. You know, I'm really going to go for it. Yeah. And then the other people are going, I'm a Christian. I can't wait till the coming of Jesus Christ. And I'm really going to go for it. I am really going to go for it. Yeah. Well, guess what? Yeah. If you're going to go for it, you're going to have to take the same teachings that I gave then, that I give now. And it doesn't matter if you're in sandals, or you're back 2,000 years ago, or you're back 2,500 years ago. You're exactly the same people. There's not a bit different in you. Yeah? And you're just as blessed today as you were then to be in the presence of Jesus and to be in the presence of Buddha. Yeah? So it's just the lies and the tyranny that confuses you from all that time to now. But the true history of that teacher, and everybody goes, oh, most people want to be Buddhist student, most people want to be Christ student, you know. Well, if you want to be, you need to know this is what he's going to ask. You know, he's not going to say, pray to me. Yeah, that's it. Pray to me. That's it. That'll do you. Pray to me. Nope. Nope. Yeah, pray with me. Yeah, pray with me. because we need to save the world. And all people are cursed. They need to be relieved. Yeah. But I'm also a yogi, and I don't want to go off on my own and fast, and nobody really know what I'm up to, because it's too disturbing to them. You know, who lives without eating? You know, he must be in cahoots with the devil. You know, how could you live like that? How can you raise the dead? How can you be so wise? Yeah. Yeah. It's a matter of really coming to know your teacher. And this is the time. Yeah. This is a cycle of time. No one really got to know Buddha. No one really got to know Jesus. But this is the time. Yeah. And the teachings that I'm going to give are very clear and very specific, and they're based on yoga. It's meditation. Clarify your eating. Get it down to minimalism. Get your life down to minimalism. That's about as Buddhist as you can imagine. That's still sticking with the same Buddhist territory of teaching, yeah? Except that you missed out on the reality of fasting, yeah? Long-term fasting, short-term fasting, and the purpose behind it. All that teaching is kind of lost, you know? Tibetan Buddhism doesn't talk about it, yeah? In Christianity, they don't talk about it. You know? Maybe we'll fast on Lent, or we'll do it this, you know, but good Lord, people. We fast because we do. That's what we're made for. Yeah. This is us as human beings. Do you think Adam and Eve sat around eating every day? All the time? You know. Yeah. They ate when they felt like it. Yeah. And they didn't have qualms about what it is they were going to eat because they felt like it. And it was what they were led to have. And they had it all provided. And we're all in the same boat. Yeah. We're all in the same paradise. Yeah. We just think that we're in this all independent individual situation to where, you know, oh, I don't want to stop eating, you know, French fries and malts and hamburgers and things like that, and have them only on my birthday. You know, I don't want that. You know, I want to live. I only live one life. Well, there you go. You're wrong. You do not live one life. Yeah, you live life after life after life. And all the suffering that we see in the world is caused by us not being told that we need to be responsible for the life we're in today and live in a yogic state and clean yourself, heal yourself, raise yourself up. Yeah. And that's what Jesus was trying to explain to all the 12 disciples. Yeah. But they were like, you know, I don't think so. Really, they were a pretty stubborn group of people. You know, they just wanted to eat and drink and be merry. Yeah. It wasn't like, you know, we got a problem. Yeah. Yeah. So it's a real thing. This is not in the second coming of Christ process, this is not about making a church to where I affirm you to feel comfortable to pray to me, you know, and I'll get you into that relationship with God so that you become a powerful prayer person. You know? You are in relationship to God already. You are a child of God already. You need to cleanse your temple. You can't do it in an impure state. This whole thing is based on purity. And you don't know until you purify. And I've helped, in this group, I've helped, you know, over the last 3 years, you know, stressing purity, 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 purity. And everybody got clean, really clean, really, really, really clean. So most of all the emotional traumas that would go on are pretty much gone. Yeah? Because of purity. Yeah? But now you're ready, you know, to really take on the next stage. Yeah? And that's fasting. Yeah? And keeping it together under fasting. And not going into fear. Not going into, you know, your personality stuff. Yeah. A lot goes on when you're cooking. A lot goes on when you're trying to feed each other and you're not, you know, all this stuff is going on. You know? A lot. Yeah. You know, so in yoga, there's a process of prasadam of when you're doing your yoga, there's an inner light that grows inside and you have no idea that it's there. Yeah. And that when you're fasting, that inner light increases. Yeah. And it happens naturally. Yeah. So then when you do meditate a bit, you're a calmer person, less stressed, and you have revelations. It opens you up. Your etheric field is what's getting purified. Your etheric field is so pure, so divine, such an angel. I mean, it's the perfect, loving relationship between God and matter. Is the etheric field. It's where God can love you. It's how love happens. Is God in the etheric field. And if you don't have a good body, a good, clean, energetic field, an astral body, and your etheric field, if that isn't clean and vibrating in right relationship with God, then it doesn't matter what you do. You will not reach God. You will not receive the blessings. You will always have these downfalls, these problems, these weaknesses. Because God is the way out. God is the focus for us to receive. And the whole process, whether it be we're doing this fasting or we're getting rid of Trump or whatever, the whole focus is to help people get to the point to where they can receive the guru. Because we can purify body and we could do all these things, but the next stage is that we have to put ourselves in right order, in right relationship to receive teachings. And then those teachings come through people and radiate out into humanity. That's the difference between the lower self and gossip and talking on a personality level. You really don't reach many people. And it's hard to live. You try and become wealthy by contacting people and making sales and all those kind of things. But it's hard to live. That's a very hard way to go about life. But where I come from, it's done through love. It's done through telepathy. And you'll be amazed, if you build in love and you do things in love. When that moment comes, when it's the right time, people just are attracted. And instead of you worrying about having to make all this and that and that and that, you have to stay in the state of love, which is faith and a bunch of other things, and then attraction comes in. Because on the lower side, attraction happens by people manipulating and putting out shit, and they got to sell these people that shit, and 10 years later, they're not going to want that shit. So businesses have a hard time to survive, But if we're in this world where we're actually under constitutional means and we're building the temple and we're doing right things, whether you're making shoes or you're making hats or you're making clothing for children or you're babysitting for people or you're cooking for people in need who can't cook, and all those things of life that you would get paid for and you live your life, all those services, are the part of the process. It's a change within our humanity. We need to have our practical vocations take place in service, rather than thinking I need to be, a famous star or make a whole lot of money for any reason whatsoever, because that's yoga. But we need to learn a skill. We need to be able to do something, and we don't know what that is. Every group has a different ray. One is science, and one is psychology, and one is economy and money, and another one is an engineering understanding and influence like that, and another one is music and sound and healing and all kinds of things like entertainment and just a way of bringing the future into existence. There's a lot of the rays that manifest everything in the upward way, in our upward consciousness. They all work in this way. And that's a new group of world servers. And everybody has a different ray. So when you're waking up, your trade, and it doesn't mean a trade like you got to make shoes or you got to make a hat or something, but whatever it is that you are to be doing in life will come to you. And if you're a tuku, 99% of what you're going to do in life is radiate. So it's how you relate to people. How they come, when they come in contact with you, how do you make them happy? How do you raise them up? Just by being you. Yeah? You don't have to make shoes. You're not making this. You're not making that. But you're spreading love. And that's what happens. In the higher evolution, as people getting higher and higher in their evolution, their ability to discern, discriminate, and recapitulate and present the soul that they've encapsulated in their body, in their previous lives, resurfaces. Yeah? And that's what a saint becomes. Yeah? And those people, they could be making shoes, they could be doing all kinds of things, but they're radiating like crazy. And the light's going into the shoe, and the light's going into the taking care of the livestock. Yeah? And then it all comes back into humanity. Yeah? And we're not, this minimalism isn't an effort. Yeah? And we after 2,000 years, will be sitting in a place knowing that God provides. There's nothing I'm lacking. Yeah? I am abundant. Yeah? God provides it before I think of it. Just like when you lose something, God provides you to get you to find it. Might be the very last thing when you're looking around, and you finally pick it up and go, wow, that was the first place I looked. It's your impurity that confuses you. Yeah? But it's God's always there to shine the light on helping you work out harmony through conflict, whether it be a loss of keys or a telephone or anything. God's here to bring back that process to allow you to find what it is you think you lost. Does that make sense? That's in everything. Doesn't matter what it is. Whether you're driving in navigation, God will move you around until you realize, I have gone 5 miles out of the way. Now, if there was no God, you'd continue driving. Yeah. But God is intervening because God loves you. Yeah. And God is not willing anything upon you. But God is doing things like this, and if your will and God's will is close, your etheric field is close, you'll hear it. You'll feel it. It will be your own feeling, your own experience, your own need to turn around. Yeah? It doesn't matter what anybody else in the car is saying. Yeah? You'll be able to know assuredly that this is what you need to be doing. That happens to me all the time. That's my entire life. I have to deal with people all the time, dealing with me acting and behaving and doing things that are so out of line, But I'm moving stuff and I'm getting this out of the way, and danger is not going to happen. Yeah? And it's just not a real normal way of knowing that that's what goes on in life. But 2,000 years from now, this will be a very normal way of our experience and our communication together. And it won't be because we're Christians. Yeah? It's because Christ is the guru. Yeah? And that doesn't necessarily make you a Christian. Yeah? It makes you a child of God. That's very different. Yeah? That means you're responsible for everything. Everything. Any suffering that you got going on, you could fix it. Yeah? You just need to have God in your life. Yeah? And you'll get that discernment and discrimination. So that's what this healing's for, is to reduce the curses that you don't have any idea that's keeping the whole world from us evolving into the ability to be with Christ. Even though I'm sitting right here, there are masses of people in the world that have no idea that I exist. And I'm not going to do anything to make that different, unless it comes my way. Because that's how it works. Yeah? You're going to find it that's how it works. Yeah? And that is how it works. God is in charge, but you have to be patient and not be disrespectful to God, and pushing your ambition and your ideas and thinking that it's got to happen right now. When in reality, it happens when it happens. It is as it is. Yeah. But the more pure you are and the more you're out of the hands of Satan, the more you will be radiating God's presence and making it possible for things not to get into chaos, but for things to literally get worked out. It's harmony through conflict. Yeah? And when we get to that 2,000 years from now, we're going to be living in the world of harmony. Literally. Where an enormous amount of benefit of joy and bliss and elemental understanding will come through us, where we'll experience happiness and joy and peace and experience of a human nature that no one gets to experience, because we're in this other area that is unhealthy. So once we've gone through the fasting, once we've gone through the world change, dramatic changes all around the world, yeah, only done because of fasting and meditating, which makes you stronger in your spiritual will to receive God's blessing to awaken you up to self-realization. Because this is all, I don't care what you think, this is all about self-realization, self-actualization. Yeah? Yeah. And to do that, you need to be healed. Yeah? You're being healed of a curse that you don't know that's there, and it's in a majority level of energy that manifests and puts you into the astral plane rather than the etheric plane. So in the astral plane, you feel like you should be talking to each other and yiki-yakking and living in the world of your solar plex. You can't get out of it, because that's the astral plane. That's where it's made, and that's where it's maintained. And your whole life incarnates in order to maintain that astral plane. Yeah, because it's based on fear. You think you're going to survive because you're going to fulfill the needs of the astral plane. That's selfish. Yeah, and it's not true. Yeah, so that same thing has to go up into the heart, and it reaches the etheric plane. You find out God's standing there. There's an angel there. It's Jesus Christ. Yeah, and Jesus Christ is standing there in a way that you can relate to yourself in a totally different person. Like, what? Why am I standing with Jesus Christ? I got to be pretty good. Yeah, I got to be all right. Yeah, because that's what happens when you move up into this higher area of the etheric plane. You start getting enormous feelings of self-assurance and self-realization and self-actualization. It has nothing to do with selfishness. It has to do with the guru. It's cleansing you. It's releasing you from your curses that keeps you from realizing your true self. Yeah. Yeah, in this true world, you have no idea what it is. I do. I know exactly what it is. I know exactly how it's going to get there. And I know it's not going to happen through war or hostility or anybody telling you have to do something. But it's going to be something you choose and you're going to benefit from. Yeah. And in about 100 years, it'll be something that we not only choose, but we have a lifestyle that lives by this. Yeah. And our children are coming, incarnating with parents that are so pure and clean and happy, living a minimalist life, you know, smiling every day. And the moment they wake up, it's just like, what? Look at the sun, man. Oh, I am so high. And it's true. It's true. You're just going to get more and more like that as time goes on. This whole asshole attitude is going to go away. And your dense, way of looking at things and being afraid and nervous and, I don't know if I'm, it's going to go away. It is just dis-ease. Yeah, just dis-ease. It's caused by this curse. Yeah. So let's do this. Okay. Okay, just repeat after me. Lord Jesus the Christ, thank you for bringing me here. Lord Jesus the Christ, I open my heart today. I invite you to come inside. Come inside, Lord Jesus the Christ, and save my life. Receive me today as a child of God. Forgive all of my sins and write my name in the book of life. I give myself to you, my spirit, my soul, my body. Receive me, Jesus the Christ. Now, devil, the blood of Jesus the Christ is against you. I command you now to leave me. I do not belong to you. I am God's property. Leave my life. I disassociate myself with you. I renounce every evil covenant I have entered with you. In the name of Jesus the Christ, I have received salvation. I am a child of God. Amen. And that's the truth. Okay, now we're going to do meditation. As soon as I find it. Okay. All right, this is a visual meditation, so you should watch the screen. Try and stay awake. Yeah. Enjoy. But just focus on what's going on. You're going to see two beings, a boy and a girl, as an image sitting there, and me in the center. And you're going to, every time I align a ray, like the seventh ray, in comes something. An etheric weaver comes down to their hand, and then another ray, a Vajra, comes to the other hand, and then another ray. On top of their head comes a pyramid, and now they're sitting in the state to receive the vibration that comes from the guru, which is very different than this earthly body you have right now. Very different, because it's the body of electricity. When you receive the light of the guru, you receive the body of electricity called prana, and that can only happen if he can change your kriya to awaken, So the crown opens up electricity and builds throughout the entire body. Every cell of the body gets awakened. Not just portions of it, but the entire body. And that's the light of the soul. So that's what I'm showing you in this illustration. I'm showing you that Jesus the Christ is bringing the tools, the meditation, what it is that's going on. These people sit in it and receive it, and then this electricity comes down. That happens because the fifth ray has completely changed from being a worrywart person who is anxiously afraid, just worrying, just nervous, out of sorts, can't make a decision, not sure of themselves, all those things. That's the fourth ray sitting up here. And it takes quite a lot of purification to get that fourth ray to change. That's why it doesn't happen until the pyramid gets to the crown, and both hands are connected to the etheric weavers. The etheric field has solidly created the body. Now, this person is not a human being. They're going to be an angel real soon. Real soon. Continue watching the video. I'm invoking healing in the nations and healing around the world, but as it comes into an outcome, this boy and girl has wings. They're manifested as angels, and their teacher has really big wings, manifested as an angel. And it's not like, I'm the big-ass angel, and you're the little-bitty angel, You're a new angel, You've just got your wings, And I'm setting you free. And this is going to happen, There isn't a thing on earth that's greater than God. There isn't a thing on earth that doesn't meet the revelation of God's plan. Not a thing on earth, And I'm here and will be here forever, Because I love fasting. I love it. I love it, I love it, And it's really hard to get people to accept that. But we're here. Now we're at the point where I can be amongst people and they might start fasting too, without them going, I can't do more than, but it is a time, you can't push time, when it's the time, it's the time. So it may take 6 months, a year, 2 years before you're really regulated into fasting. But it's going to happen because that's the way I am. And it's never going to change with me, or I have to just accept dying because that's the outcome. You're just going to waste yourself away. You're going to ruin your chakras. You're going to ruin your... There's no way of not doing that if you keep putting stuff in your body. It's not made for that. We're not here. When we consume, we are here as angels. When we consume every kingdom of this planet. We are raised above the kingdom of the human, and we offer into love and light in humans as service and understanding and caring and sharing. It just happens as a way of your being. You're not known for it or anything like that. Just the way of your being. But that angelic process changes the entire outcome of the next stage of humanity. It's very difficult for people to go into a higher... I mean, just look back 100 years ago. We were in Western stagecoaches, and people had guns. We're now recapitulating through a process where people want to wear guns, want to have the legal right to wear guns, want to carry them openly and freely, want to be militant as they possibly want to be. That's a healing crisis. We're at the end of that. These are just a bunch of people who reincarnate. They behave badly, and we know that happens. And this is all going to clear. But the only way it's going to clear is through yoga. You got to help me. The process of changing this earth has to do with the fact that you radiate out into the world. Every living human being radiates out into the world, but not until your body is purified can you radiate through that body, because it's still a physical, self-centered body. And you can't radiate light that has selfishness, and you can't judge yourself as to whether or not you have selfishness until you start fasting. And it's not about, oh, I can't fast, I'm so selfish. It's not about that. It's about time. If you start, it'll take time, and after that period of time, it'll become easier and easier and easier, because it's your nature. So I'm doing these prayers to relieve you from your curse so that you can become my student. You're asking for it. You listen to the prayer. It's an asking for me to come into your heart. If I'm in there, and if I'm going to be a teacher, then from that heart is the etheric field. So from there, we can't do any harm. We can't do any harm. To not do harm, you got to do the things I say, which is fasting, meditating, minimalism, and not expecting that you're going to get everything you wish for. But realize you're going to get more. And that it's going to be greater. And it's going to be just, so overwhelmingly much better than what you could have ever expected. Because God just destroys these delusionary, fictitious ideas of what you think it is that will make the world better. And frees you from having that thought that it's not about you, and it's not about, you got to make these changes to make the world better. It's about radiating light. How you're getting to be better is because I radiate light. How the world's going to get better is because you're going to radiate light. And you won't do that until you practice this form of yoga. And once we do this, and we've gone into this, and you've gotten your bodies into better order, we're going to start doing some yoga. And I don't do the crazy ass stuff. I do the stuff that opens up your kundalini. Just opens up your back and opens your spine. Allows the flow to take place. And you continue in your normal daily life. And that is a very easy, natural process, but it'll radiate more and more and more out to people. What used to be vices and fear inside yourself has an exact opposite current of energy. One is in a left spin, and the other one's in a right spin. And once I can get that to turn to the right spin and get you purified, and you no longer put your thought forms into your negativity, and you all of a sudden, you have all this prosperity of thought, that goes out into humanity, creating prosperity of life. And you had no idea that your poverty consciousness and your sense of I'm not worthy enough and things like that creates the whole world of poverty. Yeah, because it gives impurity to the process of what comes from God is equal. It's going to reach everybody. Everybody's going to get this. It's all going to work out fine. Yep. So this is the main process of this prayer, is to help you gain a better understanding of the pujas that I'm giving. When I do pujas, I say things, and they just, Well, they can't do that. Yeah. They have to come into you, and you have to take them to the point to where you know exactly what I'm saying. Yeah. And that means that your chakras and your heart and your moment in the moment, and because all these things are not, it's not, bubblegummy stuff that just is light and easy for you to just take and, go like that, It's very distinct, clear healing. And if you take it in your higher mind, you gain revelation from it. Yeah, and that goes into your cells. Yeah, and that's what creates you as an angel. When you're in a understanding to where you're similar, which is Jesus Christ, becomes yourself. Yeah, which is the angel of the presence. You find out that you are nothing more than a reflection of Christ. Yeah, whether you're male or female, every living being on this planet is a reflection of the archangel, the child of God, Adam. Yeah, we're all under that. Yeah, so it's the only way we get to that and heal that is through that purification process. And it's in a timing cycle. Yeah, so we're 2020 going into 2021. We have a 10-year cycle to where an enormous healing is going to take place on the planet, and I'm being ushered into public arena, and there's nothing I could do about it. Books are going to start being written, a movie is being made, and it's just going to happen. So throughout the year 2021 to the year 2030, my name, my existence, my location, my work, my previous work, and my work that's actively going on in the world as I'm being pulled into it. It's going to take place. And it's going to activate the planetary kundalini. Yeah, because the purification that I'm asking of humanity, if you take this process and it works through this next 10-year process and people really move along with it, then all of a sudden there becomes a healing, like angels clearly forming all around me. And they're manifested in the people that are listening in the pujas and the people who are doing, their fasting. And they had no idea that they would have such a degree of responsibility on the earth as a living angel for Jesus Christ. Not a saint, not a person, but a living angel. Yeah. And that's going to be a direct emanation of a time when change is going to happen on the planet. Yeah. And this is how it's going to happen. This video that you're looking at gives you the impression of exactly where God's at and I'm at in our process in the science of moving the entire human race into becoming angels. Yeah? And it's not a movie, folks. This is not Disney. This is not Spielberg. This is your reality. And it's all about whether or not your body is clear. And when you receive these impressions and hear these things, you're hearing them through the rays. Because I'm teaching through the rays. Yeah? Everything I'm teaching is teaching through the rays. So I'm talking directly to only your etheric field. Yeah? And everything else is messed up, impure. Yeah? It's got those rays and they're doing the wrong thing. Yeah? So focusing through these pujas and listening more intently as time goes on, planetary healing will take place. So, and this is how it will happen. So enjoy your meditation and focus. I invoke the power, the love, and the wisdom of your ashram, soul, and monad. To guide you into the right activity in the plan. I invoke the alignment of the 7 rays. Take a deep breath to your 7 chakras. I invoke the alignment of the 3rd ray. To your throat center. I invoke the alignment of the 7th ray. To your sacral center. I invoke the alignment of the 2nd ray to your heart center. I invoke the alignment of the 6th ray. I'm going to pause this for a second. We'll meditate to this one. I have 2 different versions of it, one without Bajus and weavers and all that, and one with Bajus and weavers. This is the one. So let's meditate on this. I invoke the power, the love, and the wisdom of your ashram, soul, and monad. To guide you into the right activity in the plan. Take a deep breath to your 7 chakras. I invoke the alignment of the 3rd ray. To your throat center. Alignment 7th ray. I invoke the alignment of the sixth ray to your solar plexus. I invoke the alignment of the first ray to your crown center. I invoke the alignment of the fourth ray to your base center. I invoke the alignment of the fifth ray to your brow center. I invoke the light of the Christ within. I invoke the nature of the Buddha that you are to become. I invoke the mind of the Devic angelic beingness that you can be. I invoke the celestial spheres, the sounds of heaven, the sounds of God, the song of love. through the meridians and the ley lines of this earth, the pulse of the seven rays, the awakening of the Logos, the healing of humanity, the coming forth of the hierarchy, the saving grace of truth.
Planetary, logos, solar, logos, cosmic, one God, one law, one life.
I invoke the angel that you are to wake up.
Science of redemption, science of God. Sacred geomancy.
I invoke all mankind to dream in visions, to awaken, to live.
Om unity and personality. Om Shanti.
Okay, just relax. Don't get up and run around. Stay where you're at. Om Mani Okay, just relax, open your eyes, and hello. All right, so take it easy, enjoy. Oh, and one other thing before I end. Don't anybody start fasting for long periods of time. Take it in a gradual state. All my Sangha fast usually on Saturday. They've been in preparation for this, yeah? Where I don't just start teaching like this and then they're going to go, oh, he expects me to fast and I've never fasted. So for a while now I've had them fast. And so now as I'm teaching, this isn't an incredible idea, you know, it's a great, true possibility, you know. So in that way, you know, there's a possibility of continuing the one-day fast, you know, a week, you know, and then maybe by the end of next month, you could choose to do a 3-day, 4-day, 5-day, or a 1-week fast. But it's up to you. You don't have to do any of that. You could stick with 1. You can go on to 2. I really don't hope any of you will try to do 7 or even 4 days. But you'll do your gradual step up, you know, in fasting, knowing that you're going to live a very long life and that you're going to do this gradually. And when you get to like 4 or 5 months from now, you'll be at a place where you can fast for a good 10 days and it won't bother you at all, a major effect. And by the end of next year, you could fast up to a month and you won't have any wrong ill feelings or anything. You'll find yourself in a completely different body by that time. You know, your mind will be thinking clearly. And a couple years after that, you could do that, you know, 4 or 5 times a year. You know, a 30-day period. Yeah. And that's almost half a year. Yeah. You know, so, and that's normal when you spend half your life in fasting and the other half not fasting. Yeah. And you will gain enormous. Just don't put yourself in the illusion that you have to live your life fasting. Yeah. Everything is in moderation. Everything. 50-50, fine and dandy. Yeah. Easy enough. But don't rush into yoga. Don't rush into things like this. Don't rush into psychicism. Don't rush into it because it'll blow you away. It's too soon. Yeah, you'll get aggravations, healing crises. You know, you'll have problems that, you know, may slow down your desire to continue. So take it gradually. Yeah, build up. Let it take 6 months to a year to really get to 3 or 4 or 5, up to a week. Yeah, but stay fast in your mind that my teachings are not going to change. And I will require you to fast, but you should be the one who's doing it on your own. And it's not a requirement from me. Yeah, it's just what you've done. By now, it's all instituted, and we don't have to go on a ceremonial 1 week, every week on a Thursday we have to fast. Yeah, you're all doing great. Yeah, and that's how it should be. Yeah, makes sense? Because if I'm not here, I don't want to be telling everybody, this is what you have to do today, this is what you have to do tomorrow. This is all about our nature. And once we cooperate with our nature and learn to trust it, have faith in how we're built in as superhuman beings, not just regular human beings, we are superhuman beings. We can do things that are super duper. Yeah? We can fast for long periods of time and not complain about it and not die, turn gray, or get weird. Yeah? Yeah. We can do this for long periods of time. And out of that, we'll have greater abilities, which will create that angelic impression that we have on humanity, which is the living saint. Yeah? A living angel. Yeah? And that, once you're purified and you're in this process, nothing else can happen but that. Yeah, you will see major changes in the world where people are calling up saying, hey, I'd like to donate. I'm building a pyramid. I'd like to donate. I'm building a meditation center for our community. Yeah, that's all happens by purification. Yeah, if you're not in a purified state, then all those things, I can build all I want to do, but I can't control the attraction level of it. It's a matter of how well can I keep things purified around me to allow this to turn into an actualization. Yeah, and it's under the law of attraction. It's in the heart. It's not a universal thing. You can get anything you want. And where I come from, that's not true. You only get what God's given you, and you better not even think that that was a part of your plan. Oh, that's what I wanted anyway. No, it's not that. It's not like that. You're not Oprah. Yeah, you got to think clearly. Yeah, you got to give it all up, because when you leave this body, you're going to leave in a unmaterial way. And when you come back, you're going to keep coming back in a non-material way. And it's best for you to deal with that what you're leaving with is your etheric field. And it's not yours. It's completely manifested by the dream mind of God. The ever-present power of God in a lucid state, in a dream mind. Yeah, in a field of higher monadic impression, which creates your body, the etheric body that you are as an angel, as a person you're meant to be. That was created in the beginning of time. God just keeps it maintained. Yeah, God gives it life. Yeah, and it's not yours. Yeah, it's God's plan. Yeah, yeah. So think about that. Enjoy. You betcha.